Hello there guys, we are kind of just going to be jumping straight into this one. We did have some slight server problems ourselves, but straight away, obviously we see Zero Tenacity on that CT side, and that's a nice opening pick there from AVN, Namana, and Kyofo. Puts them into a 4v2, but oh, Hertzlord and DSSJ doing a great job here to bring it back level.
Will they expect AVN towards Monster? He's up very quickly. Brew Monster does fall though. Hertzlord a little late to react, but he gets a dink onto AVN, so gives himself a great chance to find the 3K here. But AVN too strong with the USP, finds 3 kills himself, and Zero Tenacity, they do win the first round. But obviously, like you said, didn't really have much time to sort of talk about this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think it's going to be a good one. Obviously, you know, some of the games we've seen so far have been fairly one-sided. You can kind of see it's always been kind of the top seeds versus the bottom, but I feel like this is going to be a fairly level playing field. And I feel like we surely should be granted with a 3-mapper. And obviously, you know, we can see the maps on the screen. We see the kind of map we're currently playing. But obviously, if you can see, we're starting things off on Overpass. Then we go to Mirage, and the final map is obviously Inferno, king of all third maps. So it's a nice little series we've got on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if we do go to a third map. We've spoken about seeding quite heavily, sort of seen the top teams play some of the lower seeded teams. But this one's reasonably even. Zero Tenacity, they are 6-2. At least that was their record in the regular season. ARCRED, they were 5-3. Obviously, just one game in it, really. So not exactly that far away from each other. But it's going to be an interesting one. Hertzlord's looking very clean in this one already.
Yeah, Hertzlord already found 3 kills so far. I feel like even though we didn't see Hertzlord clutch out that round, that kill onto the player monster, well, not the kill, the dink onto the player monster, just doing so much damage, and it was such quick reaction time there. So I feel like Hertzlord definitely going to be a player to point out in this one. Obviously, ARCRED, they've selected Overpass here. I feel like they need to take it though, because we know how strong Zero Tenacity are on Mirage.
Definitely could be a necessary affair. Simka could find a freebie. This sort of double up is working perfectly.
Ooh, and ENO might be able to take down Brute Monster here. Does find success. And oh, ENO, they line up perfectly. Hertzlord and Ryujin dealing the initial damage. And ENO swinging in from the backside. Just confirming the kills. Now it's Kyofo to clutch it up. Does find the first. Has been dinked though. 8 HP. And it's just going to have to be a save here.
Great response there. I mean, ARCRED obviously losing the pistol. This is exactly what they need, and we've spoken a number of times about how winning the second round is more beneficial than winning just that pistol. So really important there from ARCRED. Really great play, and it did seem like, you know, just sort of not only overlooked, but the player towards backside with the scout really didn't react to any of his presence, and obviously Zero Tenacity a bit slow to react to the long kill as well.
It's interesting as well, obviously, to kind of talk about the whole vetoes and also the series in general. It's interesting that ARCRED have opted to choose Overpass. Obviously, it's a map that they've had success on in the past. You know, out of their 3 matches being played on Overpass, they've won 2 of them. But their most recent result, the most recent game they played in the SCL was on Overpass. It was against Eternal Fire Academy, and they weren't successful on it. And they kind of got fairly dominated. 16-9. Yes, the scoreline's not that one-sided, but still, we're kind of expecting a little bit more from ARCRED. So maybe there's kind of 2 ways you can look at it. Maybe ARCRED might struggle here. Clearly, Overpass isn't a map that they're perfect on. But you've got to imagine as well, they've picked it for a reason. They're clearly going to be fairly confident on it. So I really don't know how this one could go.
It is interesting. Obviously, we spoke about during the final game of the regular season, we sort of just summed up our thoughts on how the regular season went. And Eternal Fire Academy was one of the teams that we said we were a little bit disappointed by. Sort of, they finished, I think, 2-6, 3-5. So, considering the organisation behind them, we were hoping for a little bit more. But yeah, it's interesting the fact that one of the teams we were most disappointed by did actually best ARCRED on their map pick in this series. But obviously, completely different series, completely different play styles between all these teams. But it definitely is something to think about.
And it's also a best of 3 now. It's the long game. It's no longer those kind of best of 1s. I feel like sometimes in the best of 1s, you really can just get overrun early on, and then things can spiral out of control. Something to mention, though, about Overpass. Zero Tenacity in the regular season, they haven't even played it. So you've got to imagine that this might be one of the maps that they aren't that well versed on. But similarly, it could be a little punish pick that they've been saving for the playoffs.
AVN finds the first with a deagle. Had the opportunity to double up, but wasn't successful. Kyofo finds one of his own, but in the meantime, Simka's been left in this 1 versus 3. Bomb is being faked, and you see Simka is completely duped by it.
And ARCRED, they string these rounds together. Will just be an eco from Zero Tenacity here. So ARCRED, they can find 3.
Obviously, ARCRED starting on that weaker side. We just on the T side for now, which Overpass you normally expect to be a bit more of a 9-6 favour towards the CT side. 10-5 wouldn't be exactly surprising. So they're sort of the standard halves you expect on this map. So ARCRED, this one should be obviously their 3rd round and 3 rounds early on the T side. You can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, and especially because you only need a couple more full buys to go your way, and then you've kind of had a successful half. And I feel like the difference between a team's kind of knowledge of a map and their strengths of it really does come from their showing on the T side. I feel like, you know, the CT side of Overpass is kind of... It's not that difficult. It's fairly simple. I feel like you can have a little bit more intricacies regarding, you know, your map knowledge, whether, you know, the type of aggression you take and whatsoever. But I feel like you really see the difference in the team's ability on a map when it kind of from the T side.
Yeah, it definitely does show sort of how confident these teams can be on it. The bomb will go down. AVN and Brute Monster both towards short. They are going to be challenging a bit late, but shouldn't really be too surprising that DSSJ does find the first. Brute Monster 1 versus 4 now, just the USP. Would love to find 1, but the chance of that at this point.
Invisible still has been chipped down very low. Could be the target that he's aiming for. Oh, dink down DSSJ for 18 HP, but not enough there. They still got a kill on the eco, but I feel like we could have seen a little more there from Zero Tenacity.
Full buyout now for Zero Tenacity. Far from perfect, if you're being honest. Obviously, they got the 5M4s. They got a decent amount of util, but there's still limitations in the utility. No diffuse kits to point out. Obviously, no warp on Brute Monster. So, it's far from a perfect buy, but it still should be good enough for Zero Tenacity to cause some damage.
Brute Monster in a prime position here. Does find the first, spots the second, and information on the third as well. AVM with a nice double. Instantly, Zero Tenacity... They've battled back valiantly on their first full buy. They've shown ARCRED that, yeah, you can have the first 3 rounds, but we're going to take it from here. And they're in the 4 versus 2 situation now. Prime to take this one, and as Kyofo clears out short, even more control can be taken from the CTs. Oh, and that is perfect timing for Simka. Eliminates Hertzlord on that lurk, and it's just Ryujin that remains.
Does have the ball in his back, and 1 minute to play with. It's going to be really challenging, but I do love that from Zero Tenacity on their first full bite. You see that mid-aggression Brute Monster finding the first, completely baiting ADN in. Grabs himself a double and instantly 4 versus 2. Great way to start with these rifles.
Yeah, but look at the money for ARCRED. You know, Invisible, Hertzlord around that 7-8k mark. The rest of the team can invest in the next. Obviously, the money's not going to be perfect without that loss bonus, but still... Weapons can be invested, but it's all about Zero Tenacity stringing these rounds together. Great find from Brute Monster. 4 players will be living, keeping themselves alive into the next. The money is going to be looking good here for Zero Tenacity.
Now, all about for EV team. Just going to be sticking with these rifles, but we already saw Zero Tenacity. They're not here to mess around. They really impressed in the regular season. I feel like they've had a few tough seasons, but they've really sort of found their footing with this roster now. And it feels like they're sort of just going to see if they can get back to where they were.
AVN's had a really nice start in this one. Obviously, we spoke about Hertzlord putting up some numbers, but AVN's 7-4 currently. Oh, Brute Monster.
So many targets. It's a kind of a horrible position to be in when you're there. Got so many players to shoot, and DSSJ did in fact clear him out, so he had to sort of pull the trigger.
I feel Brute Monster's position there. There was 5 rifles on their side, 1 AK. I feel like he had the worst rifle for it. I feel like with an A1S, he probably could have got, you know, pulled the trigger a little early and could have found two, but he wanted them to kind of line up and you know, get as many kills as possible with the AK. The second he got cleared, they all knew where he was. Really unfortunate there for Brute Monster. Simka now all that remains. 1 versus 3. Hertzlord's very low HP, but it doesn't matter. Raijin very clinical there with the crosshair placement. Eliminates Simka. And ARCRED, they don't allow Zero Tenacity to string their rounds together. I kind of mentioned at the start that maybe ARCRED weren't going to be looking so strong here on Overpass due to their recent fixture against Eternal Fire Academy, but they are looking amazing here.
Yeah, I mean, it is really impressive, especially on this T side. Forcing Zero Tenacity onto this week by, again, ARCRED should be able to find 5, and then obviously you mentioned 5, 6 rounds is kind of standard for the Ts. On Overpass, there's a real chance ARCRED could do significantly better than that. Kyofo has got this isolated gunfight.
Only 2 players with armor though for Zero Tenacity, and seeing as Kyofo's already been chipped away, even if he finds the kill, realistically Namana would be the best player to wield that weapon. ARCRED, they've looked so good here, and look what they've done. They've conditioned Zero Tenacity to play this kind of passive playstyle towards the A bomb site. We saw aggression from Brute Monster and AVN in previous rounds, but now they've been getting eliminated. They really can't opt for it. Kyofo in a great position here. Oh, a lovely shot. Can retrieve the AK. Can make things work here.
These pistols, they are doing damage. Brute Monster and Simka with just the USP find the frags. Brute Monster's picked up this Deagle, finds the SSJ, and ENO gets found by Brute Monster's Deagle as well.
Brute Monster, an absolute menace there with the pistols. 1 with the USP, 2 with the Deagles. Kyofo found 1 as well with the Deagle. Somehow Zero Tenacity made it work with the half. It wasn't even a half investment. We had 3 Deagles, 2 players with armor, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, that really is winning an eco, basically. Really impressive stuff. ARCRED, obviously, their money was good, so they do still have a buy. The SSJ is going to be wielding the Deagle. Brute Monster, he's got himself an AWP now.
What that's done is they've given Zero Tenacity a round out of absolutely nowhere, but they've also kind of... surely that round's going to ruin your mentality. Losing against an eco in such an important matchup, because you've got to remember, Charlie, yes, this is ARCRED's map pick, but they need to secure it. They need to take it, because this is do or die. They haven't got another kind of match to play after this one. It's kind of, once this series is all said and done, if they're not the victors, their time here in Season 6 is over.
Still putting up a challenge here. It's 4v4. ADM found early. Porting kill back from Namana. I like that boost. I like that sort of boost and nade setup that they did. Just holding towards Con.
Really creative way to get a kill towards B. ENO, though, going to be progressing through. Surely going to be waiting for a flash, but that is pinpoint accuracy. Simka somehow able to find 2 there. I love how he just preemptively spray controlled. Just instant 180 while still holding the trigger. Knew the swing was imminent. Simka realistically shouldn't have been able to find 2 there.
Monster towards heaven. Does find Raijin caught out, but DSSJ just in the nick of time takes Brute Monster down, and he doubles up. Starts the round with a Deagle. But as soon as he picks up that rifle, finds 3.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Brute Monster milliseconds away from finding that second kill as well.
Back and forth few rounds here. Last 4 rounds have really been back and forth. Forcing Zero Tenacity onto this weaker buy once again, but you see the Mac 10s out for ARCRED. Far from perfect from either team.
It's always going to favour the Ts here when it is this back and forth kind of situation. As it is a CT favoured map, and also it's going to favour ARCRED as well because they're in the lead. Oh, Raijin. Cheeky way to get an opener.
Man advantage now. Brute Monster is hit towards the Divider with the Scout. Flash is good enough to force him off.
I like this setup here towards B. Raijin could take it down though. If as he opens the door, he'll get the information that the player's close. Oh, never mind. Miss Molotov changing his mind. He's not going towards B this time.
It might actually be more beneficial. There are 2 players towards water, both of which I believe are the M4s, so might just be the safer play, in fact.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you get saved there. There's certainly a Guardian Angel looking over Raijin. You know what, we'll miss that molly for you so you don't go towards B.
Very slow here for ARCRED. The issue is they're not showing anything, so Zero Tenacity can't really capitalize on this patience. Normally in these slower played rounds, you can see the Scout sort of find some impact, just find a few tags, really soften up these players for the other weapons.
Ooh. Nice find from Namana. Won't be able to back away in time. Oh, I say that. Somehow he's not been eliminated. Eventually gets taken down by Invisible. Simka very close here already. Although it's a 2v4, they've got the bomb down. And as you mentioned before, it is the 2 rifles that we're playing towards B. Yoffo needs to go huge here with minimal time remaining. Oh, and that's the round done. Hertzlord, not enough time to win this one, and Kyofo's just going running. That's a great way for Zero Tenacity to find a round. And the fact that Namana was able to find one and delay his life for so long, that really was the difference maker there for Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, it was such a risk that ARCRED were in a really awkward situation. Ned Raijin was the solo player holding towards Dumpster, sort of stopping the planter from being taken down, but he was minimal HP, and it looked like he sort of fumbled with his weapons a bit. Couldn't even have a response. Sort of truck needed to be this position they could plant at.
And you mentioned, obviously, ARCRED playing slow to deny anything found from the Scout and also the passive playstyle of Zero Tenacity, but in fact, potentially we should have seen a little bit of a faster pace there from ARCRED. Running out of time unnecessarily. I feel like we needed to see them go at maybe, 30 seconds remaining, because they would have at least had something to work with. They were just so late there. And as we saw, all it took was 1 kill there onto Raijin for it to be over. Namana dropping the Molotov will force the aggression back. It seemed as though someone wanted to creep their way on through, but nice jiggle there. Look at the weaponry for both of these sides, Charlie. Certainly not perfect, but you'd obviously have to favour Zero Tenacity in this one, seeing as there's only 3 players with armour, 4 Deagles and the 1 M4 on ARCRED.
This isn't actually really the full investment from ARCRED, which is quite interesting because they can't actually get a buyout next round. So yeah, it's a bit of a peculiar playstyle, but whatever they feel confident with. Still, no one's been taken down yet. The Deagle of Yeno trying to see if he can find anything. He will be up against Brute Monster's Scout.
Is he he's trying to hit a jump shot with the Deagle. Obviously, he's jumping for information. We'll delay to allow Raijin to creep his way on forward. Timing on the nade's good, and Raijin gets a lovely double there. In fact, ENO to close him out. Namana somehow not getting taken down by Invisible. The initial damage onto Invisible, making it very tough. He was 2 HP there.
Yeah, that kill on A&O could really have been the difference. Obviously, Brute Monster just had a Scout, and basically, once being pressured, he's in such an awkward situation. Namana gets found as well. 3 versus 2 as Simka gets 1 back.
We do have a kill on Kyofo. I say that as he does fall. It's all going to be on Simka, 21 HP, and he does get taken down. And as we mentioned, it was just that half investment, and they wouldn't be able to get a buyout on the next, but not if they win it, Charlie. And we've had 7 rounds in a row where it has just been back and forth, back and forth. And you can see what that's done to the economy of both sides. Obviously, the victory there for ARCRED, their economy's looking good because they didn't even invest in that one.
Difference is, though, Fred, right here, because ARCRED didn't fully invest, they sort of had a bit more of a second chance. But here, Zero Tenacity, their money was so weak, they have to fully invest. They have to force this. If they lose this round, there's such a good chance ARCRED are going to win the half of this, still with a decent amount of rounds left to play. There's a chance they can find double digits on this T side.
That's scary.
Which is already ridiculous.
Hertzlord might be able to take this aggression down. Finds Kyofo. Great way to find an opening pick. Just sneakily hiding up in that corner. Now we're going to see some aggression towards short. 2 players in connector. Simka needs to find the pick. He is successful. But it's going to be this long hit. And it's a full gamble towards Con and B. So the bomb can go down. contact made as of yet. Oh, I say that Namana could find the bomb carrier. 2 players aggressing bank. Simka's in a lovely position here. They take the aggression unnecessarily. They didn't need to take this control. But now they have got it. Raijin sets down the Molotov smoke as well. This is going to be a tough round now for Zero Tenacity. Monster. Ooh, lovely shot there. We've got a player elevated on top of the bank dumpster. Nice little one-way there for Invisible, in fact. No time remaining. Invisible definitely going down to the bomb here. ABM will, in fact, steal the kill away. And both of them surviving, in fact, somehow not getting taken down from the bomb. Very confusing situation, but as we mentioned, ARCRED, they have strung these rounds together. They've got themselves in a nice position to take the half hit. AVN does have an M4 here. And obviously we saw success from ARCRED in the last round when they had, you know, absolutely minimalistic weapons. 3 players with armor, 4 deagles and an M4. So it's not to say Zero Tenacity can't do it either. But look at the buy they're going to be facing off against. Oh, I like the run boost idea there. Obviously not come to fruition, but I think we are going to see ARCRED find double digits. Or not double digits, take the half hit. 4 versus 3.
Double digits is obviously still a possibility.
Oh, definitely.
Not going to be easy though. M4 does get found from Zero Tenacity. So
like,
Brute Monster isn't going to be able to wield that from the grave.
Yeah, I feel as well, you know, maps like Mirage, Inferno, maybe even Vertigo, you could say, double digits, very rare, but kind of not, you know, it's not like you never see it. It's finding double digits on the T side of Overpass, that's a real rarity.
Still a long way to go, but I mean, they've really set themselves up. I mean, already, regardless of what happens, they can lose this round, they can lose the rest. Still a very, very good T side. 8 rounds is near enough a guarantee. Kyofo has been spotted. Invisible does take him down. Namana, just with this Mac 10, does get found indeed. So the half has officially now been won by ARCRED on this T side. Still 3 rounds left to play on the first half alone. So obviously 11 rounds is the best that ARCRED can do. Anything extra, already this half is unbelievable. Whatever else they find is just really, really cherry on top.
Charlie, I've got a question for you. Brute Monster only had the AWP out once. We've seen these consistent full buys and force buys from Zero Tenacity. Do you think it was worth them just, you know what, we'll just take an eco, we'll take a double eco in fact, and then we can have Brute Monster start, you know, bringing out the AWP? Because it's just been so back and forth, the economy just hasn't even granted him the opportunity to get a couple AWPs out.
Yeah, it's really tough when you're in those sort of force buy wars, really. It's so tough to sort of just call it quits, because all it takes is you just win that second round in a row and the other team's money's destroyed, and that's when you can go on a bit of a streak. Sadly for Zero Tenacity, ARCRED were the ones who did that instead, so Zero Tenacity really sort of crumbled. But yeah, finance have been really tough for sort of every AWP on the server here.
I feel like the difference is, though, you can really have that dominance on the CT side with the AWP, but I feel like on the T side, you're going to struggle anyway with the AWP. You're not going to be as kind of strong with it. Whereas to have the stronger half with your strongest weapon just completely gone, Brute Monster's only really going to have one half of this AWP, and he might not even get the opportunity to use it. ARCRED, they've looked so dominant here. They found 8 rounds so far. We could be seeing ARCRED close it out in a very quick fashion, but that round from Zero Tenacity, very important there, as it does stop ARCRED from keeping the streak going, but the money in the reserve for ARCRED will allow them to buy in the next.
Yeah, a few kills just coming through from ARCRED. I mean, obviously they find 3 kills, so it's going to really keep Zero Tenacity's economy humble. Obviously, very little money in the reserve at all, so if ARCRED can win this one, 10 rounds is definitely likely.
I feel like Zero Tenacity, they've looked okay on the CT side, but I feel like we haven't really had the opportunity to see much from them, just because we've consistently just been seeing these gimmick rounds. You know, rounds in which we're seeing the Deagles, the 5.7s, some SMGs kind of take control. So we haven't really had that much chance to kind of praise Zero Tenacity on their CT side, and I feel like it's a similar kind of story for ARCRED. They've never really been on those stronger weapons, or they've not been on the stronger weapons on the T side that so often, so they haven't really had that much to show, but it's quite disappointing for ZT, especially because, you know, I probably would favour them in this one. I feel like we haven't even had the chance to talk about it, but, you know, the whole series, who do you think is going to close it out, Charlie?
I mean, it's going to be so tough. I think it's going to depend what we see. I mean, the fact that we've only sort of seen near enough one half alone, it's so tough to know. Because I do think ARCRED probably will take this one. But Mirage, you always have to favour Zero Tenacity. And I do think it'll come all just down to the final map. And it's just who's going to be playing better in that sort of best of one.
It's interesting. So, Zero Tenacity, they played Mirage and Inferno twice. One of the Mirage games, Zero Tenacity have won a forfeit win, but they haven't actually played it that often so far in the regular season. Obviously, we've seen them in the past on Mirage, similarly on Inferno, but oh! Very back and forth affair. Simca with a double, and DSSJ doubles down as well.
Bomb still hasn't crossed yet. It's on ENO, in fact, and he's towards water. Could be trying to push up towards A. This is a really interesting round, what we're seeing right now.
Go into the hands of Namana. Zero Tenacity, they find 6. They eliminate the opportunity for ARCRED to find double digits here on the T side, but still, as we mentioned before, they found 8 already. They don't really need anything more. They've had a great half, but they're certainly going to be looking for 9, but not the perfect economy to kind of take it. We're surely going to be seeing Ryujin on a Deagle, potentially some Galils and Mac 10s in play.
Yeah, the bomb plant, in fact, could have actually been really important there for ARCRED, but I don't really know what their final goal was, because ENO was pushing as if he wanted to push towards A, but his teammate wasn't, so I don't really know what the end goal was there. Brute Monster, a 1-for-1 trade. I'd say that's not too bad for ARCRED at all.
Yeah,
the SSJ just had a Deagle, obviously, so you go basically a Deagle for rifle trade, and yeah, like you said, that weapon can be picked up. Very slow here from ARCRED. Not much aggression is being taken from Zero Tenacity either. They're playing quite passive on this CT side. Obviously, overpass CT side. It's a strange map in the fact that the CTs have a majority of the control early on, and it's the Ts that have to take it. But Zero Tenacity aren't really using much of that control. Playing very passive towards both sides. Water and ABC setup here from Zero Tenacity.
They are going to be progressing on through now.
Visible's got full U-tilt. Did not use any of it though.
Ooh, and Simca, that's a nice find onto Ryujin. Kyofo finds Hertzlord as well, but ENO and Invisible, they do a great job at Namana rotating in from heaven. A nice double. And Zero Tenacity, those final 3 rounds could be map defining. I think without them, you have to say ARCRED are going to close this out. But 7 rounds on the CT side, yes, it's not great, but it's not impossible. I feel like they can still close it out. You know, if they win the pistol, win the kind of subsequent rounds after, we could be seeing Zero Tenacity finding double digits and ARCRED still being on 8. So it is still up in the air, but obviously ARCRED, it's their map pick. They're going to the favoured side. You've got to imagine they're going to be showing some dominance.
It definitely can come to that, but if ARCRED do win that pistol, that's when things get very scary. They can find themselves on double digits or even more quite early on. It's just going to be really impressive from there. It does feel like it's sort of been a bit of a team performance from both teams, really. I don't think we've seen anybody massively stand out, but nobody exactly... No one we're looking at and being like, oh, they're sort of dragging the team down, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like it's some of the rounds have been a kind of team performance, you know, Team Ace-esque, where, you know, everyone's kind of chipping in. But I feel like individuals have stepped up, but it's not as though there's a carry. It seems as though every round, you know, Zero Tenacity, ARCRED, they've got one player who might get a, you know, a nice triple, maybe even a 4K. So I feel like no one's, as you mentioned, no one's kind of playing or performing badly. I feel like it is a fairly even split between the kind of frags between the teams. I like this aggression here from Zero Tenacity. The flash is good. Simka able to find one, gets the second as well. Going to be aggressing, searching for that third. They eventually take down the monster player. 2 versus 2 here, and they swarm, but Invisible, he gets 2. Oh, and he finds the third as well. That is absolutely ridiculous. And as I mentioned, seemingly we've just having individuals in each round stepping up, and it certainly was Invisible in that one for ARCRED.
Pistol round really important there from ARCRED. Obviously, they lost the first pistol, but won the second round force. So Tenacity aren't going to be investing in much at all, just a P250. So ARCRED should be able to find 10 reasonably comfortably.
And I feel like we needed to see Zero Tenacity take that pistol. ARCRED kind of got a guarantee for 10, as you mentioned. I feel like they're going to kind of slowly spiral to the close.
Very slow from Zero Tenacity, despite being on these pistols. It's normally where you expect them just to go fast as a group.
I feel like they want to try and waste some utility, but in reality, ARCRED, they're a wise side. They understand, you know what, let's just take gunfights, hold the angles, no need to burn util. Let's keep our economy going. I like the idea of this boost divider, but I doubt it's going to have that much impact. Raijin going to be jump spotting. Oh, I don't think he's spotted him, but I don't think it's quite an off angle, but we can certainly see it. Now the aggression comes through, and DSSJ gets a nice double there to close. Not even a single point of damage dealt there to the ARCRED side. And the MP9 is finding a lot of frags, so money has been made.
It could be a bit of a bonus round. DSSJ does actually opt to upgrade. Obviously, still for Mass and MP9 in play from ARCRED.
I feel like Zero Tenacity, they do have a strong chance in this one, especially with these kind of limitations. But obviously, as a bonus round for ARCRED, you're gonna imagine they might try and take some aggression. I say that once again, they're just playing quite passively here as well. MP9 and FAMAS towards B, and I feel like that's the right play to make. Obviously, MP9 can kind of play those close quarters engagements towards the B bomb site, or similarly close towards Monster, and then also, it's not the biggest of problems having the FAMAS towards B. Certainly can make things work. Oh, Invisible getting taken down. Unnecessary aggression. Zero Tenacity certainly caught out that Monster push.
Yeah, this is where we sort of need to see a bit more aggression taken now from ARCRED. Just to get some control so they can gamble, sort of stack towards a site.
They made a gamble, but they've not taken any control. They're slowly going to be creeping their way up towards A. They might be able to catch Namana off guard, but Hertzlord operating as this lone defender towards B. He's got 4 opponents, eventually going to be making their way there. I say that Raijin has rotated in now, and similarly DSSJ going to be doing the exact same. A lot of flashes towards Monster. They've heard the drop into water. They know that B's going to be the play here. Oh, but we got this lurk. Namana's in the back lines, but similarly, so is ENO. He finds the con rotation. It forces them to go towards B here, but AVM and Kyofo finding a killer piece. Raijin finds one before the trade comes through. All on DSSJ with this flank as well. 10 seconds remaining, and Zero Tenacity, they do close it out, but it did get somewhat dicey there.
Just a lot of angles that DSSJ needed to clear. Going to be really challenging. Wasn't able to make it work. We are seeing a bit of a technical pause here. ARCRED in this round don't actually have enough money to buy anyway. They're a spot where they can just go for that 1 eco and buy next round, so that's probably what we're going to see.
I feel like there's not really any point kind of going for a buy in this one, especially when you don't have the perfect money. We'd see limitations in this and then an eco in the next. So, might as well just take an eco on this one and go for the full buy. Zero Tenacity, though, they should be able to find 9 here. I wonder whether we're going to see some pistols from ARCRED, though. Only with that 1 loss bonus, surely wouldn't be perfect buy if they do invest a little too much. We could see an AWP on the CT side as well. Look at Raijin, around that 5k mark.
Yeah, that's why I think it should just sort of be that full eco. Just make sure you got full util, diffuse kits, everything you could possibly want. And a couple of deagles. I can't imagine going to sort of change the round outcome that much.
And I think as well, it will be the first real full buy of the game. I feel like we've always had limitations on both sides. We haven't really had kind of a full buy from both sides. And ARCRED, they definitely want everything they can have. So Raijin going to bring out the AWP. Certainly going to be the play they need to make.
There are a few deagles in play from ARCRED. Visible does get taken down with his, but Herstal can just upgrade his USP to that 5.7 now.
I like the angle DSSJ is playing. See a very tight gap. Obviously, someone emerges out of con, surely will be spotted, but obviously just focusing on that mid aggression. Could find Namana here.
Zero Tenacity, they are all quite split. There could be a few isolated gunfights that could come through, but you can see Brute Monster towards on, taking so much control.
Zero Tenacity are playing this one so passively. Oh, Namana finding DSSJ. 9 HP there. That could have gone very bad, especially as the bomb right away there. So close. We could have seen DSSJ retrieve that AK, find the bomb, and that's where the round could have spiraled. Room Monster though. Oh, I love it. Oh, I thought he was going to take his time there. I thought he was going to wait around for the second to rotate up as well.
Herstal, 1 versus 5 now.
You mentioned a couple rounds ago how both sides, they don't really have any kind of players that aren't performing to the standards that we kind of expect, but I feel like a player you have to point out, Herstal, had a great start. Was absolutely dominating early on, and now 9 and 13. I believe he was 5 and 2 at one point, or maybe even 5 and 1. So really has struggled recently. Yeah, as I mentioned, we did see Raijin drop over that AWP. DSSJ going to be wielding it, and that could be the difference maker here for ARCRED.
Yeah, it feels like we've barely seen AWPs in this series. That's what happens a lot of the time when you've got these close matchups where the finances just aren't stable.
And it kind of really shows the ability of an AWPer, because CSSJ predominantly been using the rifle in this game, and currently top performer here for ARCRED, top in the whole server in fact. So when you have those kind of hybrid players, ones that can wield the AK, the M4 to a really high standard, and then also kind of when they get the AWP, that's when they get even better. That's kind of a really scary thing to think about. And now we do see DSSJ on the AWP. You've got to imagine danger will ensue for Zero Tenacity. Obviously, it has been dropped over to ENO. DSSJ has been eliminated here. 2 players low HP for ARCRED, so we could see Zero Tenacity close this one out now. The AWP not having any impact so far, and it's going to be this B-pop. Raijin not blinded by the flash. Brute Monster operating as this lurk.
Herstal, big double there. That's ENO to get one. Both these players are so low, but Namana will be planting this bomb. Doesn't have any damaging util, so will have to be the bullets to take down these players. But 1 apiece, this is certainly doable for Namana.
And I think as well, ENO's on the AWP. Obviously not the primary AWPer for this side, so you've got to imagine not going to be so confident on it, and you can see, bringing out the USP, this is really not what you want to be wielding. Invisible going to be creeping his way on through. Oh, and the timing's perfect. ENO just jumping around on the bomb site, being the distraction, allowing Invisible to find that one. It's unfortunate for Namana, because obviously it's a 2v1. It's a tough situation, but he'll be looking back at it in the demos later, and he'll realise the lack of HP on those 2 players.
I mean, the sad thing is for DSSJ there, both ENO and Invisible got taken down to low HP so early on. He had to drop over his AWP, so he didn't even get a chance to wield it. And then obviously we saw him play that aggression towards long and just got taken down for free. So hopefully in this one we're going to actually get to see him fire a bullet with the AWP.
Yeah, hopefully so. Posted up towards long as well. Nice little one and done position, and we do slowly see Simka creeping his way on through. We'll just be leaning towards party for now, but as they throw the smoke here, Trying to deny vision towards Party. They could send someone as a probe up long. They are just leaving Brute Monster to hold the angle for now. So we could see our first AWPing duel here, Charlie. Is this the first round that both sides have had an AWP? I feel like it has to be.
Yeah, I think it actually is. That's pretty ridiculous as we are in round 21. ENO getting aggressive towards mid. The smoke does hit him. But Namana slightly too slow to react. ENO, important first kill to find.
He's coming back for seconds as well. Drops the smoke towards Divider. Oh, we might see an exact replica of what just happened towards Long Toilets. ENO going to get aggressive, but Simka, a wise man, not going to be sending any util out. DSSJ has fired off that first bullet and has found a frag with it. That is Brute Monster getting taken down. They do find Herzlord there. Unnecessary aggression. It just leaves Invisible to defend here towards B. Molotov might force him out in the open. In fact, it just halts him back a bit.
Nice nade onto AVN there. Chips him down to 37 HP. Player towards Water's been spotted, but this is where Raijin swings. And Invisible cleans things up. ARCRED, they do indeed find 12. Money. Not in the best spot for Zero Tenacity. It's going to be the 1.9k loss bonus. They get the bonus 800 for the bomb plant and losing the round. So they're going to be getting about 2,700 loss bonus, but it's not... Ooh, it's probably just enough to justify a buy.
Brute Monsters.
I think in this situation you buy it and just say Brute Monster, play a Galil.
Maybe even a Mac. Only have one piece of util with a Galil, it would be that smoke. He's going for it.
I think the Galil is at a point now where it's not that big a detriment to sort of have it on the full buys, which is quite a nice spot for it to be in. Everyone would obviously rather have the AKs, but
I prefer a Mac 10 to a Galil, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I think that's just
because I'm a bit crazy.
I was going to say terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but a little bit.
I don't want to be that blunt. I think it's just because the spray on the Galil is a bit awkward, isn't it? And obviously the first accuracy of the Galil isn't that great.
I don't know the spray on either weapon.
Just Mac, you can
run and gun,
can't you? Yeah. Good luck doing that with the Galil. Well, you probably can. It's give it a go.
Well, if I guess the spray, I might get it right eventually while running.
I used to think when I first started playing this game, I used to think if you mastered the run-in spray accuracy, you could probably be one of the best players in the world.
You did
Turns
it.
out there's not a run-in spray accuracy.
I think you tried it the other day. I say the other day, it was probably about 5 months ago. Maybe even longer. Yeah, outside Con and Overpass. Long time ago. No, you didn't. You it was really funny.
Oh.
Yeah, usually it's you laughing at me not getting kills. But finally got my return.
Well, ARCRED find himself man disadvantaged here, but the SSJ could find some impact. AVM, we're going to be seeing him try to sell a bit of a fake here towards B.
But look, they're all posted up towards long, and DSSJ finds the first, searching for more here. Ooh, 2 players did in fact cross. Raijin surely just going to progress through the smoke here. Is there a slight gap in that? Oh, that is so cheeky. There's a slight gap.
I don't know if it was just, if you just heard it, was it actually a gap?
Yeah, I think there's a tiny gap there. Maybe it's audio, I don't know.
I think it was, I've seen a few players do it via audio, but either way, great way to find a kill. Man advantage now for ARCRED.
2 versus 3, obviously we still got a UMP in play. DSSJ, I love that. Getting the info with the jump spot and then just peeking out with the orb, and AVN certainly going to struggle here. 1 versus 2, but he's got the chance. Oh, they split. They've given him 2 1v1s, 3 1v1s in fact. Invisible will fall, and what a clutch there from AVN.
Yeah, really interesting sort of played round there from ARCRED. They send the UMP in first. He jumps, takes away so much concentration from that player there, and yet just no one swings with it. You saw he jumped so wide that sort of the AK was miles away from being able to find a second, and yet no one was there to get the trade.
Yeah, I don't know why all 3 of them just didn't swing. Or at least, obviously, the UMP, they didn't know that he was there towards the kind of left side flowers. Yes, the UMP jumps across, gets the information, but why didn't the other 2 just play together? It seemed as though they clearly were in different mindsets. One was tapping the bomb and the other... Obviously, just going for the frag just really didn't work out at all here, but Zero Tenacity, things are working out for them in this one. You find 2 kills early on. The bomb will go down. Obviously, just a half buy here.
Very pivotal round, the last one.
Yeah, it allows Zero Tenacity to kind of come back into this one, and also it ruins the streak that ARCRED seemingly were going to have. That seems
I think if ARCRED won that, they could have found 14.
It could be over already.
A 14-8 scoreline. Or sorry, 14-9 scoreline. Instead, we're going to be seeing a 12-11.
5 players surviving as well. Unless if DSSJ has something to say about it. Surely just going to keep this rifle in the next. Potentially we'll see Ryujin drop over the AWP. But this is so back and forth. A real replication of what we saw on ARCRED's T side. But instead of it being kind of one round, it's 2-2. Just blocks of 2 in this one.
DSSJ got the AWP once again.
You see the AWP and Brute Monster as well. Ooh, the timing. It's only 1 nade here, in fact. Doing a lot of damage. They sent 3. They probably could have killed him there. ENO finds a great pick onto Namana.
Look how... And the T's just back off towards the A side again. They've got man advantage. Don't need to play too aggressively, but Simka finds the first. And Brumons is there to back him up.
Let's drop the util now. This player's completely isolated. Ryujin does get found, and Zero Tenacity, they're looking great here on the T side. ARCRED definitely struggling here. Surely just
they found the man advantage. It seemed like, yeah, they... Job done. 3 players towards B find nothing.
It's unfortunate in those types of situations, especially when you find that opening pick. It just seemed as though the individual openers there for Zero Tenacity just were hitting their shots. You know, it just played out nicely for them. We need to see some more trading. We need to see kind of better team play there from ARCRED on that B defense.
Two ARCRED players will be allowed to save their weapons. Shouldn't really be seeing a full bite in the next from them. So just going to be trying to keep hold of these guns. They can do work with this open AK.
I wonder if ENO is going to go down towards the B-bomb side this round. Or they could just, you know, keep the rifles towards A. Potentially some P250s, 5.7s towards B. I'm just going for the USBs though. Oh, is it a B stack? It's a B stack with ENO towards A. I like this. Boosting DSSJ up.
Nothing's shown itself yet, unless this condor opens. They look so wearing. There's the orb gone.
It can be retrieved, and I feel like the orb going down. Can see a little bit of recycling going on, especially as the orb. You can kind of wield it without that armor. Both the rifles, both the weapons saved into this one have been eliminated now. Oh, and there's no way they're expecting the mana so close. That's the AWP taken down. Cannot be retrieved here. And it's all on Herzlord.
Just a USP. Couldn't really be further away.
And Zero Tenacity, they look great here. They're now going to be the ones in the lead, and things are looking scary for ARCRED. In a game they look so dominant in, their T side looking absolutely exquisite. Things have dried up a little bit for them here. Obviously they were successful on the pistol, but out of the remaining 8 rounds kind of full buys, they've only won 2 of them.
I really do think that the really pivotal round we saw was that 1 versus 3. Feels like we saw a lot of miscommunication from ARCRED. Like you said, it feels like they were in sort of different headspaces, different minds. Big misplay we saw there. It would have... I mean, ARCRED would have almost been on match point. Wouldn't have even needed to have particularly great rounds left. Just anything would have allowed them to sort of push themselves over the line.
That's what I love about CS. The intricacies. One round can be played, and it's completely changes the game. 1v3, one by AVN, completely changed the script here. ARCRED, they look destined to take it. Seems as though they were certainly going to find it, but no. Zero Tenacity, they had a hero, and then from there on, it's clear that you can see the team camaraderie, the motivation, and also the confidence from the side. They're just looking like a different beast here on the T side. And now they're the ones in the lead. They're on the driver's seat, 3 away from closing this out. And this is their opponent's map pick. You've got to imagine, once we go to Mirage, we're definitely going to be favouring Zero Tenacity. Obviously, a map like Mirage, kind of played, known by all. ARCRED's certainly going to have some success on it. But I doubt it's going to be to a similar standard as Zero Tenacity.
Bit of a technical pause here. Raijin did disconnect. Hopefully, going to rejoin and everything will be up and running as soon as possible. But obviously, this happens. It's sort of natural. Hopefully, not going to change too much of either team's momentum. I feel like we've seen a couple of times where these sort of tech pauses can really sort of change how the game feels, change the tempo of one team, makes things a bit more awkward.
It completely upsets the flow of momentum, really. Obviously, it gives time for a side like ARCRED as well to have a little bit of a breather and kind of just relax. I feel like pressure's certainly going to be to the max, as we mentioned before. There's no kind of second chances, no net to kind of save you if you fall. Kind of do or die, really. Especially on their own map pick, they need to have somewhat of a resurgence. Obviously, on the CT side, kind of expected a lot more from them as well. Did ARCRED win both pistol rounds?
No, they lost the first pistol round and won the fourth.
Oh, yeah. Seems as though both of these teams preferring the T side.
Yeah, it's strange.
I think it's just the individual. I think it's just the individual entries. I feel like we see it a lot from Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, I do feel like it's sometimes weird. We can watch a nuke game where the T's have an unbelievable half where they win like 11 rounds or something, and then it switches, and the team then also does the same thing on their T side. Yeah, and it's like, this is such a heavily CT sided favored map. What is happening?
Yeah,
and yeah, it does. It does feel like that sometimes happens.
Yeah, definitely not wrong. It's weird. Yeah, it is weird when you see a map like Nuke. I feel like in the past as well, Ancient. It just seems as though, you know, one of the sides is being absolutely dominated, and then it kind of just, it seems as though, well, now the half switch, I guess it's our opponent's turn to dominate. Like, that's kind of how it feels. It's really weird.
I think we clustered a game last season on Ancient, and I think it could have been an 11-4 or a 12-3, 12-3 sort of half.
It was 13-2. I thought it was 13-2.
I was talking. It was an Ancient game.
Yeah.
I remember it was, and we were basically building up this storyline that this game's done. Like, there's no way. And then slowly but surely, somehow, it got closer and closer, and I think it ended up going to OT or something, and it was ridiculous. How was every team? And this was when obviously Ancient was in its, but before all the changes were made, so where it was a heavily CT sided favored map. It was really strange to watch, but always, I feel like Ancient's definitely a map that always supplies these unbelievable storylines.
Yeah, definitely my favourite map by far. We saw it quite a lot here in the regular season. Nice to see it in the playoffs as well. Have you got a map that you're kind of enjoying at the moment?
Well, Overpass has always been my favourite map. But slowly but surely, Inferno's creeping up there. Inferno was always a map that I liked, but I didn't always love to play it. But and maybe it got a bit stale because every single pro game, best of one, felt like they were always on Inferno. But I feel like it's changed a bit more now. It doesn't seem like it's played as much in these best of ones, but it's creeping back up there a bit in terms of playing it. I do enjoy playing the map every now and again, but I feel like there's a few maps that you play about 5 times in a row and you're sort of a bit bored of it.
See, for me, it's weird. The maps I love to cast the most are the ones I least like to play. And then obviously the flip. So obviously, Ancient, I love to play it, but I feel like, as you mentioned, some of the games it can be really one-sided, and then we get that kind of reverse, and it seems as though when there is a map that is so CT-sided or kind of so favored to one side, I don't want to say it's boring, but you generally kind of know the way that the game's going to go. Whereas, I really dislike both playing maps Mirage and Dust, but I love to cast them because I feel like it can just go either way. You can see that dominance on the T side. You can see it on the CT side. There's a real question mark about both of those maps. So, that's why I really enjoy casting them.
Yeah, Dust. I feel like Dust is a map where you can really just see the best of these individuals. You can see some unbelievable gameplay. Namana, great way to kick things off here. See, this is a really important round from ARCRED. Their money is not in a good situation. They lose this one, Fred. ZT could find match point.
And with those 2 entries from Namana, great way to start things off. We do still have DSSJ alive and kicking with the AWP in play. It is going to be this A hit here, and DSSJ, all that remains here. Oh, a great find from AVN. Brings it to a 4v2. Herstlord, though, might get a little bit unchecked and unnoticed. He could take his time here. Oh. Oh no!
Oh no!
Blunder. Oh god, that is. You hate to see it.
The thing is, you saw that coming. You
I
saw
knew
that
it.
coming miles away, but yet you still didn't believe it.
Yep.
Oh, that is unbelievable. You couldn't even find one. That is such a shame. Broom Monster does eventually get found by DSSJ, but obviously he was just there to get that information. DSSJ, though, still putting up numbers. Finds a second. Molly is chipping him down, but just like that, they're rotating. Namana can get very deep before DSSJ can even have a peep onto the site.
Yeah, I hate situations like that because you know where it's going. You know that once you start playing Trigger Discipline, it's just not going to work for some reason.
Bomb is down, though. Smoke towards dumpster. DSSJ. He's on for the ace here. 1 versus 4 ace clutch. Could be unbelievable.
Could be the best round of SCL.
He has crept out. Namana behind the smoke. Has been spotted, but DSSJ can't connect the bullet. And Zero Tenacity do find 14. Money for ARCRED in the bin. Match point is almost a guarantee for Zero Tenacity here.
I wonder what ARCRED are going to do. Are they going to give up 15? Obviously, it's only 3 rounds. Yeah, obviously, it's only 3 rounds until... Well, I guess they don't have to. They've invested. 2 M4s.
This is even bigger a risk.
Yeah, obviously, if they lose this, it should be game over. They're going to have really weak weapons to play with. But I think as well, they don't want to go to overtime. They want to take it in regulation.
The issue is, we haven't really seen enough from ARCRED on their full buys to think that, oh yeah, they're as soon as they're on the prime weapons, they're going to win this. But the issue is, they also don't... The user's not great. No defuse kit. And they've really got to sort of make some magic happen. Nice find from Ryojin. AK can be swapped over.
ENO kept creeping on through. Could have found the bomb there. See Kyofo going to be rotating in to retrieve it. Nice find from DSSJ. I guess this full buy's really working out for ARCRED so far. 2-man advantage. Obviously, Ryojin has been chipped away at, but not the biggest of problems.
Love this angling comp. Such a tough one to clear.
I feel like that angle is really 50-50. I feel like you're either hitting all the shots or missing all the shots. I don't know, to me...
I can tell you haven't played that angle.
No, I definitely haven't. Is it always missing the shots? Well, I'll always miss the shots.
When I play it, it's pretty unbelievable, actually. You're at least getting yourself one. A site has been taken here. There's going to be a 2-man flank from ENO and Ryojin.
They're not being quiet about it. Great find from Brute Monster. Might not have heard Ryojin, in fact.
They've surely got to expect him sooner or later. Brute Monster is going to be found. Both these players towards long now. Kyofo is spotted. Is going to get swarmed on. Ryojin does fall. He lines up the second and Herzl. 1 versus 2 to keep his team in this.
Nice flash from Kyofo. Just going to be backing away. Gets himself out of harm's way. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for the save?
No time, he's got to save.
No time yet. And I think that's... Is it done? Is it safe to say it's over? The money for ARCRED certainly not going to be good whatsoever.
I mean, the loss bonus is... It is at least full loss bonus. That's the only sort of benefit I can see. Law can drop over that from Ass, buy himself an M4, and there's at least something. It's going to be a similar vibe to what we just saw, but you have to think, Fred, that was a 5 versus 3. They had sort of everything they needed. Yeah, even then, it wasn't enough. At least this time they do have a defuse kit.
I feel like that will be a slight benefit. The util's looking okay as well. I feel like this buy's a little bit stronger, but they found those opening picks in a great manner, but they just couldn't convert the round, and now they've lost the opening pick. This really isn't looking great for ARCRED, and they've got to win all 3 rounds in a row. And look at the money that Zero Tenacity have to work with. They're going to be getting full buys regardless of outcome. Oh, Namana taking down DSSJ. Zero Tenacity are the ones with a 2-man advantage now. And they just need to play this as they've been playing the rest of the half, the rest of these rounds. Because they've been playing it so well. I like ENO's positioning here.
Sort of patience game here, and Namana does lose it.
ENO's going to go creeping on up just to retrieve the weapon. We've got 2 players outside Con. Oh, AVM with the trade. ENO towards Connector now. They will drop the smoke. Oh, he's 1 HP. 2 HP to be specific.
Yeah, double what you said.
Double what I said.
Couldn't really be more wrong. Player in water, invisible, has so much work to do. Hasn't been spotted, but has been heard now.
And they're just going to be swinging into water. Oh, it's all on ENO. It's over. He's 2 HP. There's no way he wins this.
Oh, and they're going up to A, just wasting his time even more. There was a kit down. The issue is it's on invisible, so we'd have to go through the B-bomb site to get it.
This would have to be the best clutch I think I've ever seen. 2
It's always exciting to be these low HP players with the AK, because you know they're so clean with their sort of headshot accuracy and their raw aim alone that I feel like you can never leave it up in the air, but obviously only 1 bullet with any weapon would do it. Fred, both of them have HE grenades.
Yeah, it's all about time. I think once we hear the tap on the bomb, we're going to see an HE being thrown. Oh, spotted him. Just going to be running away. Oh, AVN. So cheeky that. Drop the smoke. Just taps on the bomb. Pushing on through. It's all on AVN now. There's no time. There's no time remaining. Doesn't even matter. But AVN does close it out. And Zero Tenacity, they find 16. They close out their opponent's map pick. And Charlie, you've got to imagine ARCRED are going to be so disappointed. They look so dominant on their T side. And it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like they did all the hard work, especially when they won the sort of CT side pistol. Won the second round from that. Yes, they lost a round after, but they won 2 more rounds from there. So they definitely primed themselves to take that. But Zero Tenacity just went on a huge streak. Their T side was so strong. And it felt like, as soon as we sort of switched the half, it felt like DSSJ was the only player who I was looking at and being impressed by on that ARCRED side. The rest of the team sort of disappeared. It felt like it wasn't the same individuals we saw on that T side. It was a bit disappointing, but ARCRED, they definitely gave it a good battle, but that was their own map pick. It felt like they did all the hard work, put themselves in a great position after a great T side, but now we're switching over to Zero Tenacity's pick, and this is where it's all up in the air.
And you've got to imagine Zero Tenacity, they've looked great on Mirage in the past. ARCRED have hardly played it so far this season. So you've got to imagine, you've got to favour Zero Tenacity, and seeing as they've closed out their opponent's map pick, they're coming into Mirage with the experience, they've got the confidence. I feel like they could close it out 2-0, but we will just go to a short break before Zero Tenacity's map pick, Mirage. Hello there, guys. Welcome back. Hope we're all doing very well. We are going to be going into the second matchup. Obviously, it is Mirage here. Obviously, it is Zero Tenacity's map picks. You've got to slightly favour them, but what are your thoughts going into this one, Charlie?
Obviously, ZT doing ARCRED's map pick. Looked like ARCRED could have been set to take that one, but moving on to Zero Tenacity's Mirage, this is where things get a bit sketchy, a bit dicey now for ARCRED, as a 1-for-1 trade comes out early, but a lot of damage has been taken from ZT.
They've taken CT, though, and we are seeing Namana somewhat line up a flash, awaiting... Oh, it could be perfectly timed here. The flashbang will come through. Oh, blinding them towards CT. Oh, DSSJ does find AVN. Simka takes down Hertzlord, but DSSJ could find another hit. So clinical in this P2000. 2 versus 1 now, all on Brute Monster. Oh, he isolates the fights, and that is brilliant. A beautiful clutch there from Brute Monster.
Yeah, very minimal ammo in the magazine as well, so just perfectly played in every aspect of that. And Zero Tenacity do win the pistol to kick off their map.
That was a really classy clutch there. I feel like I've never really said that before, but I feel like he just played it very nicely. Baited the CT player to swing out, created that individual 1v1, and then, with, as you mentioned, with the minimal bullets in the mag, just hitting that crispy little one-tap there. Information gathered there. DSSJ close to firing off the shot, but didn't work out in their favour. Brute Monster lurking towards ramp here. Does find ENO, and they are going to progress now out towards A. Outside the con smoke, 2 coming towards CT, and obviously the final player Hertzlord towards the B bomb site. Oh, nice find from Raijin as well. Namana and AVN bring it back into Zero Tenacity's favour.
Yeah, Namana can sort of just be this sort of last man, making things very difficult for these players to cross, but Brute Monster does finish things off onto Hertzlord. Nice attempt there from ARCRED. Felt like they were given a few chances, but the fact they lost those 2 players early on made it very challenging.
Nice start here from Zero Tenacity though on Mirage. They will just be facing off against the Eco here. And as we kind of mentioned, Zero Tenacity besting their opponent's map pick. They are primed to take this series in a 2-0 fashion. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zero Tenacity, I think it was Season 2 that they were victorious?
Yeah, I think it was Season 2. It was Season 2 or Season 3. Obviously, iNation won the first one. And we were sort of building up the storyline that iNation can do it back-to-back. But obviously, that grand final really surprised everyone when ZT came up clutch and won it. Great performance. Obviously, different roster. They do have the same core, Brute Monster, Simka, and Kyofo. Oh, in fact, maybe Namana as well.
Yeah, no, it's just a change from AVN.
Yeah, it was just AVN, Peanut World.
Yeah.
I thought there was another change, but yeah, that is it. So yeah, they definitely kept the core of the roster throughout this whole SCL, but it's clear to see why.
It was interesting for that change. It seemed as though Zero Tenacity, they've kind of plateaued, you could say, with the change. I feel like, obviously, removing Brute Monster, no, not Brute Monster, removing Peanut World, it seems as though they haven't really improved, but they haven't got worse either, so I'm not too sure of, I don't really know what to say about that change. Obviously, it was a while ago now.
Yeah, it was a strange sort of change from Peanut World, because it's a very good individual play. He was really impressive to get to watch. Obviously, we got to play a strong match with him as well.
Yeah,
very nice guy as well.
I think I dropped 3 kills in that game.
I think I got 10. I got a couple of Zeus's. Quite impressed by that. I think I went for a knife kill. Ended up losing that.
Yeah, Flamboyant was on the other team though, so it was quite easy.
Oh, that was comedic. Yeah. Flamboyant was absolutely terrible.
The 400 ping peak.
Then we got to see Peanut World get a pretty ridiculous clutch, in fact, when Flamboyant was his first kill. But yeah, impressive stuff. All fun all together.
Nice nade there onto Brute Monster. Straight away, it took 21 rounds for the AWPs to come out in the last match, and we're in round 4, and both teams have brought out the AWP. Pretty ridiculous.
Obviously, we're in a dual die stage now for ARCRED. No second chance. Not best of 5 here, so no map to fall back on.
I feel like best of 5s are a little too long. I feel like if you... I know this might sound a little bit crazy. I feel like if you're going to do more than a best of 3, you go best of 7. You make a whole day of it.
Absolutely horrible.
every
That
map.
could be 10 hours from start to finish. If you go 7 maps, because obviously you gotta have breaks, you gotta have to join in the servers.
It's
Probably
it
could be like a 10-hour affair.
But I think best of fives, best of fives are annoying as well. Just go best of 7.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like best of fives. A lot of pros don't like them. They take a very long time, very mentally draining. But I would like to see a best of 7 once.
Want to run a best of 7, me and you?
I don't know if I'd like to cast it.
We can play.
I'd see it. That'd be even worse.
Anyone want to do a best of 7 show match?
Yeah, just get everyone in chat to watch. But Brew Monster does take the on the final player, and Tenacity are continuing this streak 4-0.
They look great here.
Raijin can actually get out a hero in 4 hit. Obviously, it's full loss bonus for ARCRED, so he's got enough money where he can't realistically justify that. Instead, he dropped over a couple of Deagles.
Yeah, I like the idea behind that. Get everyone on somewhat of a weapon that they can wield, but Tenacity, they've had a great start here. They should be able to find 5, and realistically, a map like Mirage, we're expecting a kind of 9-6, 8-7 in favour of the CT side.
Mana does get found there. Simka luckily does get 1 kill back. Keeps the advantage in the favour of Tenacity. DSSJ is actually the player wielding this AK, despite being the only one who doesn't have any armour.
I feel like even if they were in a kind of man disadvantage situation, Tenacity still certainly the favoured side in this one. I feel like if we can see ARCRED find 2 kills here without losing a life, I feel like they will have somewhat of a chance, but it's still going to be so tough, even with a man advantage. But they need to find that first, obviously.
There is a short push going on right now from ARCRED, so they're heavily leaning towards B. We can see the bomb reuniting with his team for Tenacity. So it looks like it will be this AXQ. 1 defender is here, and that's ENO with this Deagle and armor.
Something I've only just realised now, Charlie. DSSJ is 9-3. The rest of his team combined only have 5 kills.
That's very impressive stuff. Brute Monster. Nice find onto Raijin, rotating into the bomb site.
And I feel like we mentioned on Overpass, it seemed as though there were really no outliers. Everyone was kind of stepping up, but seemingly in this one, it's just DSSJ.
I mean, DSSJ was really impressive towards the end of Overpass. Obviously, still early doors in this one, but it will be a 5-0 lead for Tenacity, unless ENO and Herzl can do anything. Obviously, no defuse kit as well, so time isn't on their side.
Oh, ENO.
Oh, I thought he was going to find the 3rd there. I thought that was destined. It sort of feels like once you get 2 kills with the Deagle, you're probably going to get the A's.
Yeah, I feel like as the kills go on, your Deagle becomes empowered. It's even stronger. Because after you hit that first 1 Deag, it makes sense for you to hit more, doesn't it?
I'm still looking for the first. Waiting for my first ever 1 Deag.
You'll get it one day.
Maybe.
7 years of playing CS, you'll eventually get it.
I do feel like the Deag was a very satisfying gun to get a kill with, especially if it's just a clean 1 Deag.
See, the most satisfying weapon for me, the Scout. Scout headshot. Ooh, just like a. I don't know what it is. It just.
But the thing is, if I'm being truly honest about the most satisfying, it's got to be the USP.
Does it?
It's not too loud. It's just a nice like
little pew pew.
I was gonna do the noise, but you've done it for me, and my noise was not gonna be anything like that. But Herzl could find the opening. Brute Monster does get a drop. Double up setup here for ARCRED. I like this. This is the sort of change up that I think they do need.
It's interesting that the most satisfying weapon you think is the USP, yet you use the loudest weapon in the game.
It's too easy to get kills with the up though, isn't it? Not satisfying.
Yeah, true.
Maybe just say the knife. In fact, no, the knife's probably the most stressful weapon to get a kill with. I remember, I think it was JW, or it might be in Kenny S, or someone like that.
One of the old
going for a knife on Inferno, and they were towards second mid, and they just got turned on. And it's so scary this happening, but this boost, I love it so much. Invisible, none the wiser, does get dropped.
Raijin in a great position here, can't even find anything. I love the team play from Tenacity. Oh, and Namana takes down Herzl. Everything's going wrong. DSSJ can only find 1. But Tenacity, they're 6-0. It doesn't look as though they're slowing up. We mentioned Mirage going to be fairly dominant for them, but I didn't expect this. ARCRED certainly need to step up.
I'm afraid you have to think again. That was the change. That was what I said I think ARCRED needed. They got the opening kill with it. Tenacity didn't exactly get a quick trade. It was a long, long time before they got one back. So they had 5v4, double AWP in play, and yet it feels like they just crumbled a bit. Tenacity, they're playing some superb Counter-Strike right now, and it's so clear to see why Mirage was their map pick. Really strong stuff from them.
And a player that we didn't really kind of see, play immensely well for Zero Tenacity in the last was Brute Monster, but that was kind of the lack of the AWP on that CT side and similarly the T side. But look at Brute Monster here. He's had the AWP for quite some time now, currently 9-1.
I mean, Brute Monster's a player that we've always known is such a talented player, especially a talented AWPer. But we've always... It's been no surprise to see if Brute Monster sometimes does have a slow start to a game. I think just winning that clutch in the pistol, getting the 3k early on, can really just allow him to snowball into his normal level, I suppose.
It just gives you that confidence. Sometimes when you are just having a really rough start to a game, all you need is one nice round and it completely flips kind of your mentality and also kind of the type of peaks you're going to be going for. I feel like sometimes when you are having a really rough game, you'll start making plays you would never make just to try and get a kill, just to try and get yourself on the scoreboard.
Fred, that was both the rifles. ARCRED had 2 rifles pushing towards B. Simka just took them both down. They were the heavy investments got found so easily. So Tenacity are going into where these 2 ARCRED players are though, but just with Deagle, DSSJ with no armor, you can't imagine much can really be said. No response, Ryujin, all that remains. AVN is going to be peeking into him. Info and kill has been gained, but 1 versus 4 now. Look at Romans, he's just playing with the Deagle.
I feel like did we see that recently from Brute Monster as well?
We saw it from an AWPer. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Sensei actually. Yeah, Sensei towards Window on Mirage.
Oh yeah.
Just finding a couple of kills, just instantly pulls out his secondary, starts fighting even more.
I feel like it's something you see in DMs quite a lot. Like a DM server, they miss the AWP shot, bring out the Deagle.
But Sensei didn't even miss the AWP shot.
Didn't even go for it.
Yeah, I think he was just like, let's pull out the Deagle.
Star points. I feel like ARCRED, they need something a little bit more than star points though. They need to try and find a round here because we've had 7 so far and they've all gone to Zero Tenacity. They've already had a great half here. Realistically, as I mentioned, an 8-7 scoreline, kind of what you're going to be kind of looking for, but they haven't even lost a round yet, Charlie.
I think there was a bit of a discussion there, potentially, between getting a secondary AWP out. Ryujin did have enough money to drop it over, and he was quite late to buy, but opted against it. Just going to be a DSSJ wielding the solo AWP. Yeah, if Zero Tenacity win this round, 8 will be on the board. The half will be won after just 8 rounds of play.
Great find from DSSJ, though. Takes down Namana early on. Simka, oh, this is perfect. They bait out the swing from DSSJ with the AWP shot of Brute Monster. I love how that was played. Invisible has retrieved the AWP here. Dropped AVN down to 1 HP. ENO still towards triple hit. 4 versus 3 now. ARCRED do have a strong chance. ENO very low though. Brute Monster finds him on the AWP. Invisible posted up on the angle. Does find Brute Monster. 2 versus 3 now. ARCRED, this could be their solution. This could be the first round they're going to find here on the CT side. They completely gambled away from the B bomb site. They're so sure that A's going to be the play, and AVN can get so deep. Obviously, he's 1 HP. He can get himself in a really advantageous position and potentially could take down Invisible on the AWP. He's got all the information on the step. Oh, unfortunate hit. Surely going to find the kill, though. Takes him down. Could retrieve the AWP, in fact, but 2 versus 2 now. This is all going to be on Kyofo as AVN is still very low HP.
That's the thing that's so impressive about these players. It's just they can do so much work, even with being 1 bullet from death. Such a big round for ARCRED, probably their best chance they've had yet.
AVN's got the information, does lose his life in the process, and Kyofo 1 versus 2 now. Molotov will be dropped. It doesn't seem as though they're aware that bench can be a play. I say that Hertzlord, a lovely shot there. We've got a kill on Hertzlord as well, so the round will be won. The AWP can be saved as well. Interestingly, I'm not too sure as to why AVN peeked out there. Could have just played for the bomb. It seemed a little bit unnecessary, you could say.
Yeah, I think he felt like he obviously was using audio there. because the player towards bench didn't actually see anyone. So I think just playing for audio and hoping he could catch the timing. You understand it being 1 HP, you would love to find one kill and to beat a teammate in a 1v1, but yeah, a bit unfortunate there.
Double AWP is out in this one for ARCRED. Clearly, this is what they believe to be the best solution for Zero Tenacity success. I love this from Brute Monster, though, getting really aggressive. I think as well, in that round, Zero Tenacity, they made 2 misplays. I feel like we could have seen Kyofa just hide towards bench. Could have just stayed hidden and then waited for the tap on the bomb. But I feel like they've already had a great half so far. One round isn't really going to change their confidence and their ability in the next couple. 4 players outside B apartments here for Zero Tenacity. We'll just retrieve the bomb. I think we're going to be seeing an A-split here through under. Nice kill, though, from DSSJ.
Going to be backing off a bit, so Brute Monster isn't going to be able to get the trade, but can just retrieve the bomb.
You know, getting very deep here. Brute Monster, I doubt he's going to be aware of this. You know, finds him. That is the bomb lost, and with 2 players aggressing ramp, you've got to admit this round should go the way of ARCRED. You know, he's got the AWP in hand as well. Kyofa needs...
Could be a bit dicey here. See, there are 2 players pushing towards ramp. If Invisible gets taken down cleanly.
Nice shot from ENO. Invisible finds Kyofa as well. All on Namana. They'll fall as well. A perfect round there from ARCRED. But it all just came from that aggression towards ramp from ENO. He just decided to take some control late in the round. It certainly caught off Brute Monster. And it does allow ARCRED to string these rounds together. Obviously, their money's not perfect, but talk about economy troubles. Zero Tenacity, they're going to be on a really weak bar in this one.
Could be seeing a fast B hit. A lot of players lining up towards it. Short jump has been made.
Lone B defense, though, from Ryojin. Rotations will come through. Flashes as well are coming through. AVN already done a lot of damage to Ryojin. They will just drop the smoke. We have 3 players, nearly 4 now rotating in. So we do have ENO going to be coming from the back lines. Hertzlord finds one with the USP. 3 versus 5 here. It's going to be tough.
Smoke's all over the bomb site, making things so challenging. Simka finds one, and Simka, Namano in the back lines finds a double. 2 versus 2 now. Molly towards Abs. Perfectly timed ENO falls DSSJ. He was the only player that didn't really rotate left in this 1 versus 2.
Ooh, Namana falls, in fact, and Simka completely alone now. 1 versus 1, 22 HP. Obviously facing off against the AWP, so the health's not going to be that much of a problem. Got a smoke and a flash on DSSJ. No util for Simka to work with. He's just himself here. Oh, M4's been retrieved. It's been hurt as well. And that's great from DSSJ. ARCRED, they rotated so many players in. It was a 3 versus 5 for Zero Tenacity there. The fact they were able to bring that to a 1v1 is incredible. That all came from Namana. A great double there.
Did so much damage to DSSJ as well, in fact. One down so low, so there definitely was the possibility, but impressive stuff. DSSJ continuing to keep his sort of trend of frags going. 14 and 8 right now.
Just a half buyout for Zero Tenacity. Looks as though they're going to be having a similar kind of round as the last. An aggressive B play here. Do you get the tag onto Hertzlord? Flash will come over. A lot of util coming over from Simka here. We'll send out the flash. Very deep there. They haven't even taken the bomb site and they're sending in the deep flashes. Brute Monster and Namana, all that remain. This nade's going to take him down. Goodbye, Brute Monster.
And Namana doesn't find anything himself as well. ARCRED 4 in a row. It felt like Zero Tenacity were a bit slow to get out of apartments there.
Yeah, even with the amount of flashes sent over. Yeah, they got that early contact and then they just slowed things down. Seems as though they should have just bursted right off the bat. It would have been absolutely perfect. But Do see the full buyout for Zero Tenacity. Brute Monster without the open hand, but something to mention, Charlie. We saw Brute Monster 9-1, currently 10-5. Only got 1 kill in the last 4 rounds. Obviously, 2 of them have been those kind of half-buy eco situations, but we really need to see Zero Tenacity keeping this one going because you can't see... You know, ARCRED, they come back into this one. We could be going to a 3rd map. Zero Tenacity, they looked so dominant in the kind of opening half of their T side, but they're going to want to keep this one going. Because when it goes to that 3rd map, when it goes to Inferno, it's really anyone's game. And Zero Tenacity, they did a great job to take their opponent's map pick, and you know they want to close it out in a 2-0 fashion.
I've got a thought from Mirage. It's how you change the map. You change the balcony of the B out
to a ramp.
To stairs.
Yeah. And why?
I mean, one... makes that more realistic.
That is true.
Because how are you meant to get in there? You meant to genuinely park your car outside.
You gotta go all the way around, mate. You gotta go all the way around. It's a balcony.
Yeah, but is it?
This is meant to be a house.
What sort of apartment to build like this? This is ridiculous.
Why shouldn't be called apartments? It should be called
the infrastructure of. I believe this map's in Morocco.
Infill structure. You mean infrastructure?
That's what I said, didn't I?
No.
Wow.
You merged the 2 words infiltrating
me, yeah.
and infrastructure.
I did not say infiltrate.
Go back in the demo.
You go back in the demo.
You go back in the demo. Round 12. I'll prove it to you. But carry on.
Stairs put in.
But it's going to make it...
Oh, Brute Monster. Let's find the first. This was a really strange setup, in fact, from ARCRED. Solo B player now is going to be tested. Playing towards Van. Raijin is jumped up. The spam's good from Brute Monster. 1-for-1 trade there. 3 versus 3. Simka has been brought down low, but he's peeking onto the AWP, and DSSJ does get found. Both these remaining players are coming from apartments.
I doubt they're going to be expected either. Zero Tenacity with their sights set towards market for Simka. Oh, he does get 1, but took him quite a while. It's now Kyofo in the 1 versus 1. It's planted for him. No smoke on ENO either, so Kyofo can just jiggle. Could that jump have been heard? Ooh, Kyofo finds it, but it did get somewhat dicey. Let's go back to the ramp on Mirage, though. Wouldn't that make it so CT-sided?
I feel like it'd make it more T-sided though, because I don't feel like teams really tend to go towards B. I don't know, it's definitely got changes, but you can't really play Van because you'll be able to see the enemies if they're sitting Van.
Yeah, but I think if you just play on the stairs, treat it like decon on Nuke. You can kind of just constantly just creep up and down, and
but if they were made a way where like you can't physically play a headshot angle, maybe like you can only play from like shoulder height up.
Okay.
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Is there a way that's possible?
And obviously, in these sort of post plants, you get the bomb down, you can go straight back into apps rather than have to like jump on. I don't know, strange, but ARCRED looking very good in this one though. Yeah, do lose invisible. It looks like there is this player in sandwich. DSSJ could heavily get tested. Does get found by Kyofo.
Oh, Kyofo finds another. He's only got a gap to work with. Great find there from Raijin. Hertzlord very quick on the shot there. A little too quick. Raijin's been spotted as well.
Flick before he shot there. Nade is... Oh, it looked good, but didn't do as much damage as I thought. Both players are in CT. Kyofo, in fact, is on for the ace. Oh, he spams. If he did that a second or so earlier, could have found Raijin. Raijin is boosted up here.
And I like how Zero Tenacity are playing this. Just kept themselves hidden. No need to peek. Oh, Raijin very much aware. Oh, it doesn't matter. You can be aware of Kyofo, but he'll find you.
He's still on for the ace now. Hertzlord misses another AWP shot. Bomb is going to get planted. Hertzlord switches to the pistol. I feel like that shows the state of his confidence. Kyofo is on the ace. 1 killer away from finding it.
But AVN steals it away. No ace for Kyofo. But a great
what a round in general. Yeah, unbelievable. That was a 2-man disadvantage for Zero Tenacity. The amount of rounds I feel like we've seen Zero Tenacity disadvantage and they can still find something. Really is making something out of nothing. Kyofo, unbelievable round there. Found 3 kills, gave his team an advantage, and just kept on going from there. Forcing ARCRED onto this eco. Double digits is almost all but guaranteed.
Kyofo was 5-9 before that round as well. Not having the greatest of games, but instantly 1 round, back level, 1 KD.
That's all you need sometimes, isn't it? Just to build that confidence up. A lot of mid-aggression here from these pistols. Haven't really found too much yet. Namana has been brought down to 45 HP, but I can't imagine he'll be taken down, in fact.
I like how Zero Tenacity played that. They had 3 players towards mid, 1 hold short, 1 hold window, 1 hold con, and as all 3 of them swing, they all get their kill.
Job done.
Yeah, simple stuff. No need to make things elaborate. Just do the easy work.
It is interesting. I don't know if AVN did that on purpose, but I know there's a point where Astralis were talking about it, where you sort of aim at the chest and let the recoil itself just go up to the head. Because obviously we saw AVN aim for the head, aim for the chest, and just naturally he got the headshot from it. So it's interesting if he's doing that, or if maybe just because he was against unarmored pistols, just going for the chest. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting if that's going to be some people's play styles now.
Essentially, that's why I get a couple of headshots here and there.
I remember we 1v1 against you so many times, and you because I crouch peek a lot. I'm always just get killed. It's infuriating. Bring you down to 1 HP and you hit me in the chest, but Invisible finds the first, doubles up. This is a really crucial round for ARCRED. They go 11-4 down at the half switch. That could be brutal.
It's still 10-5. It's still stupidly dominant for Zero Tenacity. But yeah, 11-4, that's kind of... Well, I don't know. It depends if you believe in Zonic's law.
We played an ECA game before this match. We went 11-4 down and we did not win. So I do not believe in Zonic's law.
Unfortunate.
I mean, it is pretty ridiculous how many times you've actually seen 11-4s sort of have comebacks. But maybe it's just because we're more sort of prone to remember the 11-4 now.
Yeah, I feel like... Yeah, I think that's what it is. I feel like before... When a team came back and it was 11-4, you'd go back and you'd realise it was 11-4. But it probably happens so much more often than you think. And then it just doesn't really work out. But AVN, 1 versus 5. Only able to find 1. ARCRED, they do find their 5th round, but already super duper dominant here. Zero Tenacity, if they find the pistol, I feel like it's safe to say this one could be over.
Yeah, a lot of individual rounds from a lot of different players on Zero Tenacity. Whereas I feel like, despite the kills not being that split on the side of ARCRED, it does feel like DSSJ has been sort of their saviour in a lot of rounds.
Yeah, the one-man team, really. Obviously, Hertzlord and Invisible putting up some numbers as well. And Raijin and ENO, not too far behind, but it was when they were losing dominantly, it seemed as though DSSJ was the only player to do anything.
I mean, even what was it? One of the first rounds they won was obviously that clutch from DSSJ.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting, but it definitely does feel like the kills on either team probably aren't that split if you calculated all of them. But it does feel like Zero Tenacity just have definitely been a good few steps ahead.
Zero
Interesting
Tenacity.
pissed around here from ZT.
Yeah, just going to mention. I like the idea of taking that kind of under control, the mid aggression, but a lot of teams going to be leaning towards A here. They've just given up the bomb site. Do have a kill on Namana, nade and flash on AVN as well, so things can work out their way. 1 for 1 towards Connector. Oh, Namana creeps his way out. Oh, they're going to drop a smoke on the bomb here. And Simka, he's done so much work. He's found 3 in this round. Invisible will be able to find 1. They're going to swarm Invisible behind. The bomb needs to get stuck here from Namana. And Kyofo needs to be very accurate here. Oh, he does get found. But we do have time. The kit has been retrieved.
Yeah, I'm surprised Namana actually went down there.
I think he shot him through his opponent.
Unless his head was maybe just poking out from the side of him. But either way, Kyofo does win the round. Simka, really important stuff as well from him. But that sort of feels like that was such a necessary round, or at least that pistol or this round from ARCRED. They are forcing it. If they don't win this one, 13 will be on the cards for Zero Tenacity.
Obviously, the bomb plants allow them to get out the Galils. We've seen 5 Galils in play. Well, you very rarely see that many rifles. Oh, Simka able to find 2 here. Will get traded by Ryujin, but Brute Monster takes down ENO, and now it's just Hertzlord remaining. Only 1 casualty there on the Zero Tenacity side.
That was an 18-second round, and that was a full buy from ARCRED, and a good-looking full buy as well, considering it was a force. 5 Galils. They got shut down so quickly, only able to find 1. And I mentioned 13 should be on the cards here. 3 rounds away from closing out this series 2-0.
It's a dangerous situation that ARCRED are in now, especially now they're on the unfavored side here of Mirage. I feel like could be safe to say this one's over. We've seen comebacks, but they're really going to need some heroes to step up here. The Mana has spotted one protruding out ramp. Nade does a fair bit of damage, but a lot less than I thought. Obviously, Ryujin did just back away there once he saw the nade coming through, but Kyofo and Simka doing a great job to find these picks.
Obviously, weren't really expecting that much in this round from ARCRED. Was just the pistols, didn't invest in much. Not a single point of damage dealt either. Simka with a 4K.
Obviously, we see the full buyout now for ARCRED, but they have to win this one. If they lose, it will be 15 rounds going the way of Zero Tenacity, and I feel like that's much too far gone. We're potentially already at a spot, Charlie, where it's already too far gone.
Yeah, I mean, only 3 rounds needed from Zero Tenacity, 8 rounds needed from ARCRED just to close out the gap, just to be on level playing fields with ZT. Obviously, still a bit of a bonus round for ZT. They've got plenty of money in the reserve, and they got 2 for masses in play.
Ryujin slowly going to be creeping his way out towards middle. The setup they've got running, one towards window, one short. Ooh. Oh, I don't think it even matters. Simka will find one before the trade comes through. Hertzlord searching for AVN here. Aware of this aggression towards ladder. Oh, and that's great from Hertzlord. Man advantage now for them, and DSSJ finding one as well. They're going to be going towards B. Oh, they opt against it. Nice little call there. ARCRED, they could have been in a world of hurt if they went towards B. That is where Kyofo resides. They'll be planting in the open, but obviously the smoke allowing them to get that bomb down.
1 versus 3 for Kyofo. Hertzlord is towards window, but he isn't really showing much. Possibility they could actually think he's saving this, but obviously the one was planted for so many positions that does not matter.
Kit in the smoke though. Oh, I wish Kyofo went for that. I'm somewhat of a ninja defuse enthusiast myself.
We haven't seen a ninja in quite a while, actually.
Yeah, we haven't actually. I feel like it's, you know, it's a real rarity.
I think we went for a period where we saw like a decent amount actually.
I think it was 2 in the same day.
Yeah, we saw 2 in the same. We saw 2 in the same game. I remember on Vertigo.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
It was ridiculous, but yeah, I haven't seen one for a while.
I feel like the teams in playoffs, they're not going to be making the mistakes. They're not going to allow teams to get those ninja diffusers, but would be nice to see one. Simple execute here for ARCRED. Obviously the full buy out for Zero Tenacity, but they lose this opening pick, and ARCRED, they've done a great job at finding these opening frags early on. Simka will bring it back to a 4-on-4. Oh, Simka spotted ENO. A very unnecessary risk there from the T. Great find from Ryujin though. Does take down Kyofo. 3 versus 3 now.
The SSJ, Molly isn't going to limit him at all. Still going to be able to play towards default.
Might just have to be the save here for ZT. ARCRED, they've looked nice here. It's a nice little comeback from them. Obviously, they are still 6 rounds behind. So, definitely going to struggle.
Yeah, still a long way to go, but it's what we need to see. Still signs of life in this ARCRED roster.
And obviously, Zero Tenacity, they've got 2 weapons in this one. Things can work out well for them. And AVM playing towards short and Brute Monster towards window. If we see mid aggression come through, ARCRED could get somewhat overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, these are the rounds, though, where you might see a few mix-ups. Maybe Brute Monster heading towards somewhere else. Maybe going for Palace Peak and Apps. Apps aggression's sort of commonly seen. You could sort of boost someone into Apps quite early, allow them to get a deep angle.
Definitely, there's going to be some aggression taken from Zero Tenacity. Potentially a Palace hit here. I feel like a recent Mirage match that we watched, it must have been the Iron Branch one. It was where they took aggression towards Palace very early on, multiple times, but kind of in tandem with their teammates in a kind of a double setup, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, AVN did get found early. Simca has retrieved the M4, but obviously doesn't have armor behind it.
I wonder whether we're going to see a switch between Simca and Brute Monster.
I really do doubt it. Obviously, you could look at it if everyone's on the same playing field with every weapon. It would be pretty logical to do so, but I think just having Brute Monster on that AWP is always a scary sight for opponents.
And I feel like having Simca and Brute Monster, if they were to switch, let's say we had Kyofo and Namana on... Ooh. Okay, well that's why you don't switch. Leave Brute Monster to have that AWP. He can do that again.
Yeah, point proven that.
I'll stop talking.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous.
Was that an audio cue? It's found another. Because Brute Monster can single-handedly just win this round with the AWP. Kyofo's found another, but Brute Monster's found 3 in this round, searching for the 4th. Missed flick there. Invisible has spotted him. Spotted him twice now.
Brute Monster's in a stage where it looks like he's getting really antsy. He's got a decent amount of kills and he just wants to peek out again. He's got to win this one now. 5 bullets in the mag for Invisible and he does it.
Yeah, I feel like Brute Monster was in a position where he was kind of a bit trigger happy there. Found those first 2 kills, wanted to swing out and kind of get that final kill because obviously, you know, after having that confidence, that kind of swing, get a kill, you want to do it again because it kind of sets in motion how you're playing really. But every single jiggle, not finding that information, not getting that peak, not finding that opportunity, and the fact his teammate died as well, that's when he did just have to kind of play a little bit more passively.
I've seen this boost up. ARCRED are very slow to take mid though, so ZT do leave it. Don't want to get caught towards underpass.
Once again, full one out for Zero Tenacity, but not perfect. No AWP on Brute Monster. We could have seen Zero Tenacity take that one. It went down to a 1v1.
Yeah, obviously disappointing that they didn't win it. They did have man advantage in the 2v1 at one point. But you have to think that wasn't a full investment. That was 2 rifles saved over. AVN got taken down instantly. So basically it was just Brute Monster. And the fact that they did that on just sort of that sort of buy is definitely just a warning to ARCRED. You're never safe. You've got to remain on your toes in every single situation here.
Obviously, a lot of util already used for Zero Tenacity, so their sight holds are slowly going to get weaker and weaker. Do you see the smoke?
ARCRED did a really good job keeping hold of theirs. You like 3 pieces of utility.
Especially after they've taken mid control.
It's 30 seconds.
Certainly going to be going for a punishing execute. They drop the smoke towards short. They're going to be creeping their way up connect to hear the flash. Seemingly wanting to come through, but doesn't pull the pin. Simca with a lovely double there. And it's just DSSJ remaining. 1 versus 3. Spots out the first, takes him down. Will drop a Molotov towards jungle. Will in fact land in the smoke. He has spotted one. Oh, and that could have been very dicey there. Does give away the pick, and AVN unnecessarily swinging. Puts DSSJ in a 1v1 now. A winnable situation. 2 bullets remaining. Oh! When he gets it. That was a 1 versus 3 there for DSSJ. And I'll be honest, Zero Tenacity, they threw that one away. A near guaranteed round that they just got way too aggressive. I think the kill on Simca there's not really much you can do about it. Simka was staring towards ramp, awaiting the ramp aggression, but that 2 versus 1 was played so poorly there from ZT.
Yeah, I mean, I liked how ARCRED played that initially, but they didn't actually really use any of that util for the execute. And because they weren't doing so, they were just going for gunfights with no information on Zero Tenacity, so they were losing it out. So Zero Tenacity, like you said, definitely should have taken that round. Unfortunately, they didn't. 1-for-1 trade, though, with a USP kill onto Brute Monster. Nice kill onto the 5-7 as well. Brute Monster still alive and kicking, but DSSJ, he's so aware of when to switch to the rifle.
Yeah, no. Sometimes, you know, when you're facing off against the Deagles, you potentially don't want that AWP, because all it takes, 1 missed shot, and then you're kind of on an island on your own. Not really much to work with. 3 versus 2 now here, though. Kyofo and AVN remain.
AVN did have a chance to take down DSSJ. Wasn't able to hit the bullets, though. Kyofo is going to be tested in CT. Flash is good. Not, in fact, good enough, but Kyofo still falls.
I love those kind of running, jumping sprays. More commonly seen with a MAC-10, but, you know, if it works with an AK.
AVN spotted and taken down. Double digits now for ARCRED. 5 rounds in a row. Zero Tenacity now. This is where they've got to be sort of respecting ARCRED a bit more now.
Especially because, you know, those 3 rounds that they found so far, that was off the back of the pistol. Now it's in the 4-buys. They've had, this is what, their 3rd 4-buy on this half? Maybe their 4th. Really hasn't worked out too well for them.
Brute Monster is back on the AWP though, so see a real threat with this. And I feel like someone has to try to shut DSSJ down.
And who else? Lamp Flashes coming over here. Brute Monster is towards middle. 2 creeping their way up under. Find Simka very early on there. 2 players towards short here. Ryujin could do a lot of work. Takes down Brute Monster. 5 versus 3 now. Double molly there. Send a molly towards ladder.
Pushing up towards A. No A defenders. Realistically, this has to be a save from Zero Tenacity.
We have got Kyofo fairly deep. Isn't the back lines, but going to be too slow. Not sending it out. We'll just go towards under. So yeah, it's going to have to be a save. They can retrieve the AWP. Kyofo finds 1.
Yeah, just try to limit the economy here of ARCRED whilst keeping your weapons alive. Then get by in the next round if they do so. It is obviously full loss bonus. That's going to be 3.4k. So Zero Tenacity are going to be able to drop over the remaining 2 players if they can keep all 3 alive.
Should be able to get a buy in the next, as you mentioned. It was an interesting setup there. They had 2 players towards short, 1 out in middle. I feel like we needed someone in connector to hold under, because that would have baited in Simka massively. Even if the con player goes down for nothing, we'd have 2 players swinging out under, and Simka finds them both every day of the week. Been so clinical. Currently the top performer here for Zero Tenacity. So I'm not too sure as to why they played that double setup.
It's just trying to catch the play. It's trying to catch the other players out, isn't it? Just someone out in mid so deep, it's not really expected, but obviously these pros, they've seen it all.
Well, Simka's done it a lot of the time in this half already. They're just going back to kind of what was working for Zero Tenacity initially. Oh, Simka's out in the middle. We know this. Let's just swing on to him, and there's no other contact was made. It was so tough, and that's a great find from ENO. Takes down Namana. Okay, they've been great at finding these opening picks, and things are looking very tough here for ZT now. Are they going to save once again? Looks as though
yeah, it looks like it. Feels like they're not able to have much response in any of these rounds.
ARCRED, they're going to be 1 round away from their opponents. I feel like Zero Tenacity, they need to start taking some aggression, and I know that's somewhat of a risk, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, because the third map is slowly creeping up on Zero Tenacity. This is going to be 7 rounds in a row from ARCRED. This was a 13-5 scoreline. We're going to have a 13-12 now.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Are we seeing a triple boost there?
Can't actually see much.
Yeah, and instantly fell off as well. Mana can just invest. I feel like Brute Monster might ask for an AWP though. Yep, there we go. No surprises there. This is looking quite scary for Zero Tenacity now, Charlie. Because they were very dominant and then potentially got a little too complacent. They allowed ARCRED to find their footing on the T side. And now we're 1 round away from a level playing field. And you would never expect that at that 13-5 scoreline. I thought it was already over.
Yeah, it definitely did feel like it. Zero Tenacity haven't been able to have any sort of response to this domination from ARCRED right now. Things could be leveled up after this one.
Obviously, the money for ARCRED's looking great as well. Obviously, Zero Tenacity, they've got a little bit in the reserve, so they win this with a couple casualties. They can still invest in the next, but ARCRED, they've got so much money to work with here. Util coming over. Brute Monster searching for a pick here. Might just peek behind this smoke. Flash will come through. Ooh, Kyofo spotted one towards B. Oh, and they've just given a pick away. Hertzlord goes down. It is this fake towards B, in fact, as they are leaning towards the A-bomb site. They're aware of it. Great find from Brute Monster. Perfect reaction time. They're already under balcony. Oh, and Brute Monster's away. He's found 2 in this round. And Zero Tenacity, they're playing this one to perfection. They're aware, you know what, we've given ARCRED too many rounds. Let's punish them now. That's exactly what's happened so far. It's 2 versus 5 now. DSSJ and Raijin, all that remain. And it's going to be a very difficult one for them to close out.
Yeah, interesting attempt there from ARCRED trying to sell a bit of a fake. Really didn't work out at all. Kyofo allowed his team to get the opening kill. DSSJ does find one. Brute Monster's next to the chopping block.
Oh, and he only
shot there.
It was a sliver of his opponent that he saw, and he still hit the shot.
So Tenacity finally end the streak of ARCRED. Still, obviously, winning those 7 rounds in a row means the finances for ARCRED are in a very good situation. They can still get a buyout.
Charlie, what if we didn't see Namana drop over that AWP? We might not have seen that 4K from Brute Monster. Could have been a completely different round. Clear to see that Brute Monster very dominant here. Both AWPers are on 24 kills now. Clear to see how strong they are as individuals. Nice find from Brute Monster though. Opening pick going the way of Zero Tenacity. Ooh, the tag onto Namana as well. Yeah, no, though, finding one.
Does get dropped. The NO's been having a really tough game. That kill has just pushed him over double digits. There is this player towards Ninja.
So unfortunate, Simka. Which is biding his time, but could have waited for the bomb plant, I believe. I feel like it would have been somewhat of a safer bet.
I think he was paranoid about the Palace player, potentially. 2 in CT. DSSJ does want to take this fight by the looks of things. Raijin here as well. Flash is coming in, but so many players here. And Raijin does, in fact, find one, but look at the HP. The bomb's been dropped, though. No AWP in place, so these rifles have got to hit these shots.
Obviously, both with AKs in hand. Has been dropped. We'll just drop a smoke of their own. Oh, he does retrieve the bomb. We'll just tap on it though. Nice little spam, but obviously position has been given. I think he's aware they're both there. The reload and the Molotov are thrown at the same time. Or obviously not the reload thrown, but you know what I mean. Oh, the spam is good. Amazing. Invisible. Really having a tough time in this clutch, but he finds one. 10 seconds remaining. He's tapped this bomb so many times now, but he eventually plants it. It's all on Kyofo. Invisible brings out the AWP. And he finds the kill. Nice clutch there from Invisible, but it was very dicey.
It really was. The round could have went either team's ways, frankly.
Love to see
ARCRED do deny Zero Tenacity stringing any rounds together. They can still get a buyout, which is pretty impressive, in fact. I don't really know how they've been able to do that.
That's the amount of players staying alive in the last. I believe it was, what, 4 players surviving?
Oh yeah, obviously, and Brute Monster being dropped over the AWP. He had about, I think, about 5k in the reserve, so he was able to drop one as well as buy his AWP.
Ooh, double orb in play. Namana bringing one out. Namana not had the strongest game so far, and sometimes when you are struggling a little, you do bring out that double orb, and obviously that's what we saw from ARCRED on their CT side. So Zero Tenacity, similar kind of idea.
Yeah, we've actually seen some impressive AWPing from Namana previously. See, we saw 1 versus 4 on Dust 2.
Yeah, it was
A couple of rounds later, it was followed by Broommonster getting a 1 versus 4 in the exact same position.
Like Zero Tenacity, they always kind of show that brilliance. They always have kind of a crazy clutch in them. We've seen it from AVN so far. Obviously, that 1v3 on that overpass, that was pretty cool. Obviously, it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, we definitely had a good few clutches in this game. Oh!
Namana.
How was that missed? That looked straight on him.
Yeah, potentially just got a little bit CSGO'd. Maybe moved ever so slightly while firing the bullet.
I do think it is pretty ridiculous that you can aim at someone and there is that slight chance the AWP shot doesn't actually hit. It is so strange. Obviously, chances of it happening are very low.
Something like 1 in 1,000.
Oh, it's...
Even less.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it is pretty ridiculous. Deagle's gonna have it quite a lot as well.
Yeah, Nico knows that all too well.
And that was not on his head, but okay. I mean, you can't blame him. Obviously, pressure, but decent bit of pressure on that man's shoulders.
Simka though, a lovely double. Talk about pressure. Certainly going his way, and Namana on the AWP rights the wrongs of that initial first shot. Though it seemed as though it should have hit. 3 players have been tagged down though a little, but it doesn't matter. Namana has done so much work on the AWP here. A nice double. Simka with a double as well, and Zero Tenacity, they're going to find match point here. Less of DSSJ.
Simka really needs to take a bow after that. That was unbelievable, the pressure of this situation. The fact that they were so close to closing out this game, and ARCRED have fought so valiantly to bring this one back. The pressure of this round specifically, money could be broken. ARCRED could take the lead off of it. And the fact that Simka just pushes, no flashes, nothing, catches a time and finds one and manages to find a second and keep himself alive, allowing Namana to get the third. That's perfectly played CS there. Huge play from Simka.
For Zero Tenacity on match point. They've got 2 opportunities to take it. They will get both of those as well, as the money isn't looking too bad for them. So even if they lose this one, they're going to get buyout in the next. But talk about money, ARCRED certainly struggling. And Broommonster and Namana, both at the exact same second there, they find a kill with the AWP. Instant 2-man advantage here for the CTs. And it's all on Ryujin, Hertzlord, and Invisible. DSSJ, the hero, has been eliminated. So this could be it, Charlie.
It's definitely a possibility. DSSJ, such a valuable player to this ARCRED side. Getting found is going to make things really tricky.
We could find out our kind of next quarterfinalists here. I think this is this the final quarterfinalists?
I don't think Into the Breach have played, have they?
No, they played today. Cyber MD. I believe they were victorious. So I'd like to say I hope so, as I put them in my pick'ems.
Visible. Has been spotted and has been found. This round's still not over yet. 3 versus 2. Slight tag from Broommonster.
Only 1 flashbang remaining. As all the utility. Nice find from Ryujin. Takes down Broommonster. 2 versus 2 now. And Namana, just a USP in hand, has retrieved the AWP. But it's all going to be on Namana. Did a great job with the AWP in the last. Can he do it again?
Not enough, but really great attempt. Interesting thing is for ARCRED is their money still isn't going to be great. AWP can be dropped over to DSSJ. He can drop over an AK, but we could see a few Galils in play. Maybe lack of util is it's going to be really interesting. Unsurprisingly, a tactical pause has been called.
The winner of this match will be facing off against Bax. Aside that, I really was surprised by this season. They performed very well. Yeah, this will be our final quarterfinalists.
Obviously, the furthest Bax have actually progressed was the quarterfinal. So it'll be really exciting to see if they are able to sort of beat that curse that it feels like it's been upon them for so long, because they've always looked so great in the regular season.
Yeah, we had somewhat of like an internal pick'ems between me, you, and Flamboyant. I think last season he said Bax to win it all, which we obviously joked around with him about, especially as they really didn't have the perfect playoffs run last season.
Such an important round here, though. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the bye. It's in an awkward place. Zero Tenacity. Only real limitations you can argue is no Molotov and Namana.
Only two kits.
Diffuse kits, but 2 kits isn't even that big a deal.
Well, we could see
obviously 3 kits would be advisable, but yeah, it's not really that big an issue.
We could see someone drop a final piece of utility over to Namana. Simka could drop a flash and buy a nade, and that's exactly what he's done. This could be it, Charlie. This could be the final round.
2 players lining up towards B. This seems like quite reminiscent of that fake we saw. In fact, it looks like ARCRED are going to be lining up towards this B in the end. Nade onto DSSJ has chipped him down a little bit.
Kyofo's got a lot of work to do, seeing as the rotations are going to be very slow. We do have Namana progressing up under, and he's going to be in the back lines. This could be absolutely perfect. Kyofo, it's all about timing here. Goes for the spam.
Namana is still just biding his time. Kyofo does find the first. Does get dropped. Damages Herzl significantly, though. Namana's very fast behind. There's still this lurk on ENO towards mid.
It's all going to be on Namana here. I wonder whether he plays Trigger Discipline. Surely he's going to spot the player towards Van very shortly. Oh, he's going to send the Molotov. He has spotted one. Now the aggression's going to come through towards Market. AVN finding one.
Lord could be dead to rights here. Namana just needs to push out. 2 versus 2. Player on boost and player in short.
It's all on Simka now. He's been the hero. Oh, he was the one to take it to match point, and he's the one to close this one out. Zero Tenacity, 16-14. They do end it. They progress themselves to playoffs. They get themselves to that quarterfinal spot. What a match that was, but I feel like that round really signified how well Simka played. He got a lovely double there in that final end there to clutch it up, and also we saw that aggression towards ramp to kind of take it to that match point position. But what a series. What are your thoughts after that one, Charlie?
I mean, I was going to say sort of halfway through that Mirage game that it feels like ARCRED had just sort of plateaued since the end of Overpass, but sort of the complete opposite. They really, really fought valiantly and gave it their absolute best and brought it so close, 16-14, in which they failed to convert. It feels like they did all the work, but it often feels like that's the case. You do all the hard work, and then finally the team that just hasn't been able to have any response for the longest time just steps up and closes it out. A great effort there from ARCRED. Very disappointing from them to not be able to advance further, but that's sort of how CS does go, isn't it? DSSJ, though, really impressive player. Sort of as soon as he got taken down in those sort of previous rounds, it felt like that's the main firepower of ARCRED just gone. But great stuff. Players really stepped up towards the end there from Zero Tenacity. Kyofo and Simka, 2 players that you have to point out. Just the rounds that they had, unbelievable. Just near the end to really sort of salvage something. Brute Monster, just a consistent throughout the whole series as well. But great game to watch. But Fred, that is our final quarterfinalist then.
Yeah, we've got it all kind of lined up here. What I'll quickly do is I'll jump over and we can kind of see how the matchups are going to be playing out. Obviously, as you can see here, try and zoom in for you guys. So yeah, obviously the first game from top to bottom. This is that top tier production. Obviously, we've got Into the Breach versus VP Prodigy.
That's going to be a great game there.
That's going to be an absolutely crazy one, especially 2 teams that could potentially take it. Then obviously 1pin versus Maybe, Hotu versus Iron Branch, and obviously Zero Tenacity versus Bax. 4 quarterfinalists that I feel like a couple seasons back you'd be expecting them just to take it. I feel like every single team here deserving of their place, and I just can't believe kind of how what this league has come to now. So many. Let's talk
about Bax CT for a second. Obviously, Zero Tenacity finished in 7th, Bax finished in 2nd, but in terms of record, there was only one win in it, really. 7-1 between 6 and 2. Both these teams have looked really strong throughout this whole season, and obviously both have advanced to the quarterfinals. Is there anyone you're sort of looking at there and thinking, oh, I'd give them the slight edge?
It's tough because obviously Zero Tenacity, they had a really nice game there, but back similarly, they only had one loss in their regular season. It was against Iron Branch as well, so you've got to imagine they've looked absolutely amazing. I'd probably still give it to Zero Tenacity, although I don't know, it's tough. It is really tough. Yeah, I'd probably still give it to Zero Tenacity. I feel like they're always a team that we've looked at in the SCL, and they've always been contending, for those kind of semi-finals, finalist spots, but they just haven't had that slight edge. But maybe this could be the roster, this could be the side to do it. But what about you?
I don't know. I asked you hoping you'd make things slightly easier for me, but no, I've got no idea. That's just a game that I'm really excited to watch because it's one that I follow. That's probably one of the hardest ones to predict out of the quarterfinals, I feel like, and none of them are exactly easy.
I think the rest of them you can kind of favour one team. So obviously with the quarterfinals, ITB VP Prodigy I'd slightly favour Into the Breach. One Pin maybe UK bias here, but I probably would go One Pin as well. They've looked great recently. Iron Branch Hotu, I think Iron Branch definitely the favourites, especially as they're looking to get that 4-time title. But Max versus Zero Tenacity, it's a bit of a tough one. It really, really is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think I probably could have said it better myself. That's one that I think is hopefully going to have a lot of eyes on it because it's going to be such a interesting one to see. Obviously, we're not even far away from the finals, Fred. We're really speeding through the end of this season, but quarterfinals are done now.
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned, only 10 days away till that grand final spot. That should be, or grand final spot, grand finals day, so that should be absolutely amazing. But obviously, that's been it from the round of 16. We should be jumping into the quarterfinals in a couple days' time. But if you guys are enjoying the SCL, make sure to drop a follow on the Twitch and also the Twitter so you guys can get those constant updates about what games are being streamed and how the season is going thus far. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the quarterfinals.